So in a patriarchal paradigm that teaches men that it's okay to be abusers, that it's okay to violate, that it's okay to take without consent, and then to put women down for everything. In that model of the world, if women stay and defend their partners just because that's what they've always done and that's what they know to do, because of their own worthiness, let's call it issues or whatever you want to call it, then men have no opportunity to step up to the plate and become something else. So I'm not saying that men can't or won't do it on their own. I'm saying that when women do not reclaim their boundaries, when women do not declare enough with congruency and with an urgency that it demands, we're ensuring the intergenerational violence occurring. So I don't know, I don't know because I'm not in it. And I know that I was in an abusive relationship for 7 years. And it wasn't until I had that epiphany inside myself, no matter how much I knew, no matter the yoga, no matter the therapy, no matter the things that I did, all of them, the drugs, whatever, it did not become real for me that I could and I will and I am right now. I have already left that I could leave until the message, and I remember this descending through my body and landing as I watched my ex flirt with another woman while I was still there visiting him in British Columbia. It's like out of my element entirely. And there he is doing this fucking dickish thing. And no matter all the stuff that preceded that, up to and including rape, I stayed. I stayed, right? Like I kept showing up. I kept trying to make it work. I kept thinking that there's something wrong with me and like I got to fix it. And if I show up differently, if I just do the kind thing, if I just do the right thing, if I'm just like blah, 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 that never fucking worked. It only got worse. It only got worse. And so what does it take? What does it take to have that epiphany almost, right? Like what does it take to have that visceral realization of that's enough? And it's not enough in a way that now I have to brace against, in a way that I have to fight, in a way that I have to, show him how wrong he is or show him how right I am or like convince him in any way. It was just done. It's like, oh yeah, it is now done. So I realize that so many women stay in abusive relationships because they don't know what else to do. I realize that women stay in abusive relationships because they don't know their inherent worth and they haven't had that moment of realization that they are worth more than that. So no matter what they're doing, it's never going to work. So it was a very interesting conversation, and it followed me having written a piece on domestic violence and my experience of domestic violence. And so I'm releasing that along with this video, actually. So, like, why do we stay? Why do women stay? And my belief about it is that we don't know any different. And I don't mean know in our minds any different because we're not stupid. We can notice that this isn't fucking working. I mean viscerally know. We're so busy running around trying to make ends meet, trying to make it work, right? That we're more willing to to contort ourselves into a pretzel, to make ourselves something that we're not in order to try and fit in and try and make it work. And time after time, the violence increases. The violence gets more. It intensifies. It becomes so in our face that we don't know what else to do. And now we're deeply steeped in shame for having done it. And so now we stay to try and avoid the shame, but the shame constantly, it cannot be avoided. And there's a reason why it's showing up, right? There's a reason why that sensation of shame shows up. So I don't normally work with women who are in the depths of domestic violence, who are still with their abusers, who are still, trying to be safe, trying to find some safety in the environment where their children are growing up. And it's not because I wouldn't. It's simply because there are stepping stones sometimes to safety. So the physical safety, unless a woman is willing to reclaim inside her safe, the physical safety of myself and my children is not present. She has to create it. And so would I work with a woman like that? Absolutely. I would absolutely be more than happy to. And at the same time, if that woman does not take that step to actually congruently say, enough, I don't know what would be available to her. Because right now, at that point, all she's got is defending the violence inside herself, right? Trying to make it work inside herself. And that's a space of compression. That is not a space of evolution. And I work with women evolving. So it's very interesting that Melissa actually brought that up in terms of it takes women. Because unfortunately, men, I don't know why, I don't know, and it doesn't really matter, but men are not going to step up to the plate unless and until women do. In fact, what abusive men do is perpetually try to shame us. They will use absolutely anything in their tool disposal, particularly what hurts most. So generally, men with children will basically use the children and her ability to mother those children correctly to shame. They will also use sexuality to shame us. They will use our whatever it happens to be in terms of what hurts to try and compress us. And the interesting part is that despite us intellectually knowing that that's what they're doing, we still continue to engage that. And I did it for 7 years, so I'm no stranger to that, but it's so long ago that I have, and I have integrated so much of that I forget what that's like to be in that space. So I don't know. I really do believe, I really fundamentally do believe that the future is in the hands of women and that it takes women to show up and to reclaim their boundaries and to reclaim their wisdom and to reclaim their unfuckwithableness, right? They're unapologetic. Because if women constantly are sitting in the background waiting, if women are constantly trying to convince, and if women are constantly bracing against, and if women are constantly trying, and if women are constantly doing all the things, and if women are constantly keeping themselves in a disempowered position, this shit will go on because our daughters will learn, necessarily, no two ways about it, that this is what's normal. And our sons will learn, no two ways about it, that this is what's normal. So yes, it takes courage. Yes, it takes audacity. Yes, it takes a willingness to actually create a different reality. And none of that is possible unless and until we allow the flood of information in our bodies to let us know, I am done. I am done. This is enough, and I am done. So if you're out there and you hear this and you have had or are about to have your I am done moment, I really invite you to get in touch with me so that you can reclaim your I am done with grace. So you can reclaim your I am done with a way to move forward with your children in a, what's the word? But in a meaningful way, right? So you can move forward with your children in such a way that propels you toward becoming the capital P protector of their lives. And you know what? You can do this. You can when you're willing to do it. So if you're out there and you're willing, know that I'm here, and know that there are lots of different resources out there to help support you through the transition. And always, transitionary periods are really challenging, because it means you're creating a different reality that wasn't available until now. And you're creating a reality that gives your children the chance to actually live lives free of domestic violence. So, I don't know, I have lots of thoughts around that. Hence the blog post and all this. It came up during the unapologetically unfuckwithable, embracing the crone that I am year-long experience, this domestic violence situation, and what it does to daughters, and what it does to children, and what it does to our souls being violated, really. It's like the profane winning. So I will be sharing more around that, and I wanted to share this little bit today, simply because it lives in me, and simply because it's crystal clear for me that unless and until women make that congruent decision to move toward safety, they will continue to create unsafety for themselves, their children, and their partners. Because if you don't hold your partner to a higher expectation, I mean, he's definitely not going to step up the plate. So, or step up to the plate, whatever. So, that's it. That's all for now. Thank you for listening.